I decided to show you how I create graph patterns. Now, this isn't the only way to do it, obviously, but this is just my particular way. First of all, I want to point out that I have a piece of glass underneath here, and that's just so that I have a very flat surface that doesn't have any bumps. The first thing I do is I go ahead and I measure out the square that I want to use. Oh, this graph paper here, this is 10 squares per inch. But I measure out what I want. I already know what my gauge is, and I intend on using fine weight yarn and a bee hook. So I know that 49 stitches will be about an 8-inch square. And that's what I want. Well, actually, this is going to be for a circle. What I do is I go ahead and I count out my squares. I mark what the center point is on both of them. And that gives me my center of the pattern right here, right there. And then the next thing that I do is I hand sketch exactly what I want to make. This particular pattern is going to be holly leaves, just something for the holidays, and I thought holly leaves was pretty generic but a lot of fun. After I have my sketch down, then I start putting the color in, and I use colored pencils. This particular colored pencil is pine green, and it's just step by step, square by square. I go ahead and I put the color in. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit while I actually do this and tell you what I'm doing. So what I did here is I have 4 holly leaves, and what I'm going to do instead of putting the holly berries in here in the middle, I'm actually going to crochet little circles, and I'm going to sew them on in the center here, and that'll really make it pop. But it's kind of hard to, no matter what you're doing, it's kind of hard to make a perfect circle when you're doing tapestry crochet. So I decided if I just crocheted little circles and sewed them on, that would look really pretty. Now here, well, let me turn this so that, there, I'll work on that one. I'm trying to get the glare off of the glass that's down here. What I do is I just take a look at my hand sketch here, and when I have enough space that I can actually color a square, I go ahead and I color the square. And so right here, and I will actually put little dots on my my pattern. And now see right here there's a little line that I sketched in, and that's not a full stitch, so here I would skip over. That's more of a stitch there. That one's questionable, so I'm going to leave that for right now. Just take a look at it. And over here I've got the same thing going on. So I just put little dots in there. And then I go ahead and I just erase very carefully my lines that I drew in here. And I'm kind of careful not to erase lines that I'm still going to use. The lines are just there for kind of a pattern. And from here it's just coloring. Now you'll notice that I'm avoiding the lines here, and I'm doing that because I want to take a look at it to see what would look best in the finished tapestry crochet. I like to take my time. I like to make sure that they look nice. So this one's going to be for a circle, but I'll also, in the pattern itself, I'll also include one that's for a square. When I make one that's for a square, now this is just simple, it's just 4 holly leaves, but for the circle I want the holly leaves to go out. For a square, I'll put the holly leaves in the center, and that'll just make the square or the circle look a little bit better. You know, these patterns can be very, very simple, but you can also make them a lot more elaborate if you so choose. I think in my particular finished one, it won't just be the tapestry crochet. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'll sew the, there's going to be a little line that goes up the center of each holly leaf. And I'm going to be doing that in kind of like a yellowish green, just to kind of make it look much more like a real leaf. Okay, so that's kind of basically the beginning of a holly leaf right there. Like I said, I'm going to actually put a stem in here, and I'll hand sew it on mine, and that'll actually make it look a little bit better. And I'll take a very close look at it when I go into stitch fiddle, and just make sure that it really does look like a holly leaf. And then, like I said before, my little holly berries done in red, I'm just going to crochet tiny little circles and sew them in right here. So that's kind of basically it. Let me get this so that you can see what I did. And that's how I create graph patterns. Like I said, it's all by hand. Thanks for taking the time to watch. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button below. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Also, check out the show notes and links in the YouTube description below. There's a lot of helpful information down there. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, make it an awesome day.